Welcome along to WD18, the Watford fan channel. Hope you're doing fantastically well. My name is Jacob Coleshaw, Sam Yuko, Charlie Zazera back to talk all things Watford ahead of this weekend's game against Coventry City. We're going to look back on our game against Swansea in midweek as well. A bit of WD18 Cup to talk about as well, so make sure you stay to the end of the video. Charlie, how you getting on, mate? It's a different location for you today. It looks like you're in a toilet.
Yeah, just on the toilet now. I'm in an office space in Camden working really hard. So yeah, looking forward to finally go and see some old friends for some pints and then see new boys ahead of another Watford game tomorrow.
Hopefully it'll be a good one. Sam, how's your week been, mate? I know you weren't there in midweek against Swansea, but what was that like? Did you have any withdrawal symptoms?
Oh, far from it, Jacob. Yeah, it's a bit of a rarity for me not to be at a game, to be fair, but just being up in Birmingham, final few months, just might as well give it a miss and really focus on my dissertation, which should probably be taking priority at the moment. But yeah, back on Saturday, which we'll talk about it. It should be an interesting game.
Do you know what? It's to be honest, at half time, I don't know whether you were thinking the same, Charlie. I was thinking, Sam, you played an absolute blind in this one. Second half, okay, it did improve. Me and Charlie have slightly different takes on that second half because I felt, it improved, but I didn't think it was that great. I just felt that the bar was really low in the first half. That, it was an improvement, but anything was an improvement on that first half because a lot of times this season I've said that was the worst half I've seen from Watford this season. If it was like it's every single week at the minute, and that first half was genuinely the worst of the season so far. Huddersfield's probably up there as well. Charlie, you felt there was quite a significant improvement in the second half. Is that fair?
I don't know about significant, but improvement. Like you said, I think it's important to caveat that the bar is very low for where this team's at in terms of confidence and quality at the moment. I thought first half kind of bold selections from Val. Batman came in instead of Hamer, which for me I thought was quite harsh. I think Hamer's been pretty good for us this season and kind of maybe he didn't have his best game against Millwall, but Val made that change. I'm sure we'll talk about the first goal. Ryan Andrews came in. And I think we tried to stay with a 4-2-3-1, but first up I just thought we were all over the shop really. Couldn't get to grips with Swansea, who are a possession-heavy team. They were telling us all about our pressing. Our centre-backs were pressing. Livermore, you see, was trying to press the defenders and there was just space everywhere. And I just think we were lucky that this Swansea team were in the early stages of their development because on another day, a better team would have put us to the sword in the first half. And I think those changes in game from Val, I think he went to a 4-4-2 at one point with Dennis and Bayern up front. But first half was not great at all. But I did think second half, if we related back to more of the 4-3-3 that we used to, and Tom Gelly is the 6, so I thought did well. And then we had a bit more energy with Kone and was it Chapadetsi central in? I think it might have been, who I thought was outstanding on the night. And thank God for Chapadetsi because I thought he was the one who kind of got us that point. But it's not great, but I'm just trying to take a glimmer of improvement from my second half going into Saturday.
I think the crazy thing about Chapadetsi coming in was if it wasn't for Sema getting injured, he probably would have been brought on at 70 minutes. And it meant that he had to come on. And we know what we're going to get with Georgie is someone who drives with the ball, who's really brave on the ball. And I think that was the thing for me from his performance the other day, because the first half, it felt like a lot of players went hiding. It looked like a team completely devoid of confidence. No one wanted to pick up the ball in tough areas. But Georgie got on the ball, drove with the ball, pushed us up the pitch and got us back into the game. Sam, let's take it back to the lineup though, because there was four changes as Charlie mentioned. Let's run through that lineup against Swansea. So the main one, which surprised a few people, including myself, was Daniel Batman coming back in goal for Ben Hamer. Ryan Andrews, Ryan Porteous, Wesley Hoot and Jamal Lewis making up the back four. Jake Livermore and Tom Dele-Bashiru with Yasser Asprilla, Emmanuel Dennis, Ken Sema and Bio up front. What was your initial reaction and thoughts when that team came out, Sam?
I think the first name that you look at on the team sheet is the goalkeeper, obviously. And I was as surprised as you said you are, Jacob, that Daniel Bachmann had come back into the team. Granted, I think Ben Hamer's had a rough couple of weeks, particularly in the game against, who did we even play the weekend? Millwall. He probably could have done a bit better from the free kick, like we said on the reaction after that. And I also thought there were a couple of really, really shaky moments, but I didn't think that equated to him getting dropped, particularly with performances that we saw from Bachmann earlier in the season. And I think that was the one that really, really surprised me, to be honest with you. We knew that Ryan Andrews was coming back into the team, and our best wishes to Jeremy Ngakia, who I know he's probably not getting a lot of sympathy at the moment from Watford fans, but I personally feel really sorry for him, how difficult it must be to be a professional footballer, keep working your way back from injury just to get injured straight away. So hopefully he is making a speedier recovery, but good to see Andrews back in. But I think in terms of the first goal, those are the two names we have to focus on, Ryan Andrews and Dan Bachmann, the two who came back into the side.
Who's at fault, Sam?
I think it's the keeper, to be honest with you. I think with Dan, what happened is he's really enthusiastic and he cares a lot. And I think what sometimes happens, therefore, is that he tries too hard and trying too hard in this case meant him coming off his line too quickly and just completely misreading the situation. Whereas I feel if Ben Hamer was in goal, that's just a normal head back to the goalkeeper. But because Bachmann comes so far off his line and out of position, it just looks like a complete shambles. Some will argue that Andrew should have had a look up, but I think instinctively as a footballer, you expect your goalkeeper to be back there on his line or at least in his 6-yard box ready to collect the ball. So for me, it is 95% Daniel Bachmann.
I think, for me, it was 100% Daniel Bachmann, to be honest with you. I rewatched it a couple of times at half-time, and I was thinking, okay, could have Andrews have maybe headed it away instead of gone back, but the ball was going that way, his momentum was going that way. The obvious thing was to head it back to the goalkeeper. And then Bachmann, his positioning, as Sam mentioned, is just all over the place, really. I think when I watched it back, it kind of confirmed what I've always thought about Bachmann. He's just a completely confidence player. And when he's low on confidence and when he's trying to maybe prove himself, he does rash things.
Yeah. I think he tries too hard sometimes, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I agree. Even with his kicking, it just felt like everything was just not really there the other night. Charlie, do you agree with that? Could Andrews have done any better, or do you agree it was Bachmann who's to blame?
No, unfortunately, I think it's definitely Bachmann's fault. I think if you look where the ball's landing, he's just got no right to come into steaming out. Even if Ryan wasn't there, the Swansea player's just going to get there. Like, if he's called for it, which you think he would do if he's going to come and get it, where's he called for it? Is Ryan even going to hear it if he's 30 yards behind? Just getting a rush of blood to the head, and this costs us another goal. I just feel like this team at the moment, even reminding me, we've got Coventry coming up there, reminding me a bit about where we could have gone. I'm not saying that, I can't remember what we decided on whose fault that was, but you got to feel sorry. You got to feel sorry for Val in that instance where they're just shipping goals for fun, and there's no kind of structure to go on and win the game. But terrible start to the game. But like I tried to say in that second half, I was surprised with what happened. What do you think Val said to them? And were you surprised, Jacob, to see that reaction at half time, or were you still not that impressed?
I was impressed, but in the sense that impressed is a stretch. I think what I was happy to see a bit more intensity to our play and a bit more like just endeavour really to get on the ball and make things happen. It felt first half watching that team, they didn't really know what they were trying to do. I mean, Jake Livermore was setting the press from midfield, which was just wild. I was like, what is going on here? It felt like we were just literally sideways, backwards. And to be fair to Dan Bachmann, if it wasn't for that save in that first half and that 1-on-1, the game was done, I think. At 2-0 down, the atmosphere was poor. The stadium was half empty. To be honest, it was probably the emptiest I've seen it for a while. Probably the last time I've seen it like that was at a Carabao Cup second rounds. Like it was pretty flat, if we're honest. Because people are obviously frustrated with what's happening, understandably, at the minute. And if it wasn't for Bachmann making that save with Jamal Lewis being a little bit lackadaisical on the ball and not checking his shoulder. I mean, he's done that quite a few times since he's been at Watford, where he takes a touch, doesn't really look around him, and next thing you know, there's a player on him. So you then going into half-time going, it has to improve from here. And I, to be honest, Charlie, I don't think it could have got any worse. I mean, if it stayed at that level, it would have been really concerning, I think, in terms of the whole of this season. But Sam, second half, what did change? Was it simply Georgie getting on the ball? Was it simply him breathing a bit of confidence into the other players, do you think? Or was it a bigger picture with this team?
So just to jump in as well, I think it's worth mentioning Dan made 2 decent saves, didn't he, in the first half? But that's just what Dan Batman's about. We never are going to be shot stopping, so we have to give him credit for that as well. Seriously.
Yeah, no, 100%. I was very quick to give Dan credit after the game as well. I thought those were 2 really, really good saves, particularly the one-on-one when Jamal Lewis was dispossessed was a brilliant save. So fair play to Dan for that. Second half, I think, first of all, it helped. I think Swansea's levels dropped, to be honest with you, first and foremost. I think they perhaps set off us by another 1 or 2 yards. And defensively, I thought they were really, really solid. Particularly Ben Cabango was absolutely everywhere, blocking absolutely everything. So credit to them for holding on there. But I think it was Georgie Shaftat who changed the game for us. Him getting on the ball, energetic, driving the ball forward, really, really positive. I thought it was a fantastic performance from Shaftat, and that allowed other players to get more involved in the game as well. The likes of Emmanuel Dennis, Bio started pressing a bit more as well. I did think that substitution, bringing Rivich on, perhaps killed it a bit, killed our press a bit. But yeah, I thought it was Georgie Shaftat who was the primary reason why the second half was slightly better than the first half. A quick question though for both of you, because something that I haven't really spoken about too much recently, but obviously Shaftat came on for Ken Sema. And I know Ken got injured again. Hope he's doing okay. But do you think there's been a drop off in levels from Ken since he's come back from injury? Because I just don't think he's really seemed on it. And I think him coming off for Shaftat, I think we slightly improved after that.
I think he's lost his yard of pace a little bit. I think I hate saying that about players, but he's had quite a few injuries, those muscle injuries, especially someone who relies on getting past the player. I don't think Ken is as direct as maybe he was before when I watch him. Maybe that is down to the injuries that he sustained over the past year or so, Charlie. But I think there is a conversation to be had about sort of what he's offering to the team in a minute. This might be a hot take. I'd play him at left back. I think he'd be a better left back option for us than playing left midfield, because he gives us that option of an overlap once every so often, but it doesn't rely on him to beat the man on the outside constantly, which I don't think he can do anymore. What do you reckon as a take? Taking Lewis out, drop Sema to the left, and then you play Dennis off the left, or you play Spria, etc., Chafadetse even.
I don't hate it. I'm not too sure about whether he's lost a yard of pace. I just think he's been in really bad form, and I think there's so much stigma around certain players and perception around Watford, like we spoke about Dan Batman. But I do agree, Ken Sema has kind of got a bit of a pass just because of his King kind of thing. I just think his performances levels have been pretty low recently. And I'm looking at what Martins was doing at the start of the season. We were saying at one point in the start of the season, he's been our best player this season, coming off that left, scoring a couple of worldies, causing trouble. So I'd like to see Martins back on that left. But then again, we saw Dennis in the second half. Well, he looked a lot stronger from the left coming in, causing chaos like we know he can do. So it's not like we hadn't got any options. But I definitely think it was a bit of a blessing in disguise with Ken coming off and Georgie coming on, because I would totally agree with what Sam said. He provided the spark to get as a result. I'd like to see him start on Saturday. My big take from the second half of my frustration is just we've got such a lack of chemistry up front. Like whenever we get to the final third, there were so many times against Swansea where we failed to make the right pass, we held on for it for too long, or we were getting in each other's way. It just seems like it's just not clicking, and whether it's a lack of chemistry or kind of just that confidence composure in front of goal, that's something that's a bit concerning, because I actually think defensively we're not horrible. We're not shipping 3 or 4 every game. I think it's the attacking side that we're struggling to carve out good chances.
Is there something to be made of Val's changes as well, Sam? Because I think rightfully so, he got scrutiny for it, changing the keeper. Obviously it's not helped him there. It's kind of confirmed the point that it probably wasn't the best decision with the way we conceded the goal. You then look at some of the other players who came on. So, for example, Ishmael Kone, who I think is our most talented midfielder in terms of quality, and he's on the bench, he comes on. Chafadetse, okay, changed the game. Kiembe's coming back to fitness. But is there questions from Val about sort of selection ahead of Saturday, some of his decisions?
I think so, 100%. It wouldn't shock me if he changed the goalkeeper again, to be honest with you, back to Ben Hamer. I think he probably should as well, to be fair. I think Ishmael Kone's got to play as well. I think he's another one, like you say, Jacob. I think when Ishmael Kone's on it, I think the levels of the team improve as well. The problem is when he's not on it, like we saw in the Huddersfield game the other week, I think he really, really does struggle. And I think that's probably why he's not playing. I think perhaps potentially there's a sense that Val needs to make sure that Kone's fully on it before he puts him back in the team. But yeah, I think it. I agree with you on Martins, actually. He's been out of the team for a while as well. We haven't seen as much of him in the second half of the season because, to be fair, his levels dropped off while he was playing on the right-hand side. But I'd be keen with Semaral now just to stick him back on the left against Coventry, just to see how he gets on more than anything. There's not much to lose now. We're going to have to try anything, really, to pick up points at this moment in time. So I think just having that bit of excitement with Shaftatsi back in there, I think will be brilliant for us.
Let's look ahead to Coventry. And before we do that, there was a couple of tweets there was one tweet with two photos that went pretty much viral on social media regarding Coventry's head of recruitment, Dean Austin, who was in the stands for Watford's game against Swansea at Vicarage Road on Wednesday. And he was in communication with Mark Robbins and football agent Rob Siegel. They were published on social media, private WhatsApp messages. The Athletic are reporting that Dean Austin is considering legal action after the messages were published from the stands. But we've all seen them. We've all seen what he had to say and what Mark Robbins had to say about this Watford team. Charlie, that's got to be the team talk sorted, hasn't it?
I think where we bit down, I came away from that thinking, pin it on the dressing room wall. That's the motivation that all these players and Val needs. So Coventry are a decent side, but that's hopefully given us something to fight for and try to prove a few people wrong. So I enjoyed the theatre of it, and hopefully it's going to result in a boost from our performance levels on Saturday.
Yeah, it gives it a little bit of spice going into the game on Saturday. In terms of Watford's form, it's one win in the last 7 games. A point against Swansea means I think we're 7 points off the relegation zone. I know people are going to say, why are you looking over your shoulder? But it is so tight down there from 22nd all the way up to 13th. Watford are on 45 points. If we win, we can go as high as 11th. If we lose, we can go as low as 15th. So pretty much a game that can define whether we're on the beach for the rest of the season or whether we're going to be looking over our shoulder potentially. But Sam, how are you feeling? Get the flip-flops out. Sam, how are you feeling going into Saturday? Coventry have been a weird team because they've had quite a lot of positives, but I guess it's just consistency with them. I thought they were probably going to be they're 8th in the league, so they're in playoff contention as they were last season as well. They'll be in around it, I'd imagine, to the end of the season. What's your thoughts and feelings going into the game on Saturday? Do you fancy us to get back to winning ways?
No, to be honest with you. If we play anything like we did in that first half, I think we could be in huge trouble inside the first 20 minutes, half an hour, to be fair. So I think it's all about how Watford start. I think we've all a lot of people have seen, if you haven't, go and check out Lou Orns on Twitter, published the league table if games were just played on the first half. And I think Watford would be bottom or second bottom, if I'm right in saying that. So a team of Coventry's quality, they're still looking up, thinking, can we get into the playoff spaces or secure a playoff place? We're going to have to start quickly. I think the big thing for me, someone who's impressed at Coventry this season, Sakamoto is injured, I believe, for the rest of the season. So that should hopefully play into Watford's hands. But yeah, I'm just hoping that we see a Wesley Hoot last-minute winner with a Luis Suarez-esque celebration that we saw him do on David Moyes.
Charlie, how concerning was that first half in the week? Because I know this is a bit of a hospital pass of a question, but
Jacob, only forwards.
Yeah, it's just because I felt that, as Sam said, if we play anywhere like we did in the first half, I think Coventry will beat us. I think we got away with it in the sense that I think Swansea have improved under Luke Williams, but they could have probably killed the game if they wanted to in that first half, and they'll be kicking themselves that they didn't. What needs to change from that first half? What was lacking? Because we just come out the block so slowly. And I guess maybe a better question is, why do you think we're such a slow team? coming out of the blocks. I mean, as Sam said, we'd be bottom of the league if this league was based on first half results alone. Why do you think it is?
Something in the way Val sets up his teams to be a bit more reactive and throw yourself into the game. We talked about the late goals earlier on in the season. I think, and we talked about the fitness levels, and that's how he wants to approach it. And that's why I don't feel really 5 stars. But I would really like to see us go back to what was a bit of a winning formula around the Christmas period with Kayembe and Kone with Livermore. I think when you had Livermore in it too, the other day, it just did not look right. He was left alone. But I think we, in that free, could work well. Sorry. And then up front, hopefully, Dennis and Springer or Martins or Chapietzi's obviously trying to get a place in. But I'd like to see that shape come back, a bit more structure, because I think that's what gave us a bit more structure in the game against Swansea. So if we can get back to that, to have a good base, and then hopefully kind of ease our way into the game and take some chances, that's what we're going to need to do. But it's at this point, like, the results obviously matter, but I think if we have a bad performance, it's going to be a bad week for Watford with the international break coming up. But hopefully we can see another positive performance. I don't think it's a must-win or anything like that, but if we saw a positive performance or like a draw, I think I'd take that.
Predictions, lads?
Yeah.
I think he's got another draw written all over it. I can see like 2-2.
2-1 Coventry. 2-4. I think we'll see a similar game. I think they'll kill it in the first half. I think we'll probably come out the block slowly again. I think we'll probably see a better second half, and but it'll be too little, too late.
So Charlie, predicted a 4-1 win. Go on.
I got 1-1.
1-1. Yeah, I to be honest, if you said to me now, would you take a point? I probably would. I guess the last question, actually, just on this one, and I hate to be that guy who stirs the pot a little bit in terms of sort of Ishmael in his position. But Sam, being honest with ourselves here, if we don't have a positive performance or positive result on Saturday, is Ishmael under pressure, do you think, or is that just going to be the case till the end of the season?
I think he's under pressure already. If I'm being honest, I think because they didn't sack him after that Huddersfield game, I think he's probably got this game and Birmingham before they make a decision on the international break. I think potentially if we win this one, we'll most probably be just about safe for this moment in time. So they might decide to ride it out until the end of the season. But I think if we don't pick up points in these next 2 games and we're looking over our shoulders, I think a change will probably be made ahead of the game after the international break.
Charlie, any additional thoughts on that situation? No.
No, yeah, I think Sam's right. I'm not surprised at all with Gino, and they were kind of looking the last couple of weeks for potential replacements. But I speak to someone on the other day, and I was like, how well was that manager bounce done for us in the last couple of seasons? If it does get drastic, there will 100%. But I think there will be a change. But I hope they stick with it, and hopefully we can ride it out. We've seen Val turn it around before earlier in the season. Look, don't get me wrong, it's not great at the moment. It's not good at all. But I just can't see how a change is going to suddenly turn us into. Do you know what I mean? Who's out there is going to do a better job? So hopefully for a positive result against Coventry. Then we got a week until Birmingham. So we see how we go from there. But I'm much more looking forward to the WD18 Cup. What you guys think?
And that's where we're going to wrap up today's episode, WD18 Cup. And we managed to get, and shout out to Emmanuel Dennis, because Charlie dropped an optimistic DM over to him on our social media accounts at WD18 fans. And the man obliged and met us after the game at Swansea. Exclusive. Emmanuel Dennis is the last person to have a shower at Watford. He loves it. But no, what a man. And we've got a signed match-worn shirt from that game on our auction site for the WD18 Cup. The link is in the description below. We've also got a raffle open with some really cool prizes on there. And there's many more prizes to be announced on the auction as well. So watch this space. Charlie, how you feeling for the WD18 Cup, mate? It's slowly creeping upon us. I think it's 17 days.
Yeah, it's coming quick. It's coming quick, and yeah, I'm feeling like it's been great. We dropped the Craig Cathcart match-worn FA Cup final shirt, which has already had some great bids. So that's great to see. We're going to put the links in our description or the comments below. Make sure you check out our auction prizes. We've got a signed shirt from the men's and women's team. The men's is a home shirt. The women's team is an away shirt. They're both on auction. Hospitality tickets for a game next season. And then the auction, we're also dropping a signed home women's shirt. So all you need to do is just £5. You can buy as many raffle tickets as you want. Buy £5, and there's some great prizes there. So, and obviously it's all going to 2 great causes with the Peace Hospice in Hertfordshire Mines. So make sure everyone gets involved on the raffle and the auction. And then, looking forward to the day. We've seen some of the lads sending through the shirts that they're wearing, a really nice clean kit from Team Lads Speak Out. So it's going to be an amazing day. Really looking forward to it. So like we've said, and beating the drum, if you can support it by any donations, amazing. Make sure you get in the raffle because you can win an amazing prize. Make sure you come down on the day.
Absolutely. I said 17 days. It's 15 days away. Almost just 2 weeks to the WDC Cup, 23rd of March at West Art Sports Club. As Charlie said, if you fancy donating any amount, we'd really appreciate it and love to see you there on the day as well, even if you're not playing, and get as many Watford fans there as possible. Sam, Charlie, any final thoughts? Anything else I missed? I normally miss something.
Just get behind the team, I think, regardless of what you think about everything that's going on behind the scenes at Watford at the moment. I genuinely think we've got a really, really honest group of players playing there. I don't think they deliberately make mistakes. I think compared to what we've seen in previous years, I think it's a really likeable group. So let's just get behind them, and hopefully we can turn around the form tomorrow. Yeah,
absolutely. That's the last thing I would say as well, and just in terms of the atmosphere, because I understand why it was flat in the week, and I was guilty of it as well. I was kind of sitting there going, "Wow, this is a real drag today." But I think, if anything, if we can use those messages as a motivation, get behind the team, make it a difficult place for Coventry to come to. And I think the lads need the confidence more than ever. I have to say, second half, when we scored and there was a bit of momentum and Wesley Hoot was giving it to the rookery, you just felt it swing a little bit. And I think these players feed off the fans giving them that support. They take more risks. They get on the ball. They make the pass that they maybe didn't see in the first half. So if we can get behind them, let's do it. Let's get a win on the board. Let's get the flip-flops out. But that's where we're going to leave it. Make sure to leave a like on the video. And if you're listening on audio, make sure to leave us a review, subscribe to the channel, comment down below your thoughts. And we will see you on Sunday night for a review show of Coventry City at Vicarage Road. So take care of yourselves, guys. Have a good weekend and up the audits.